And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Bubble here on KARE 11 Plus. As always, alongside Brandon Spratt, I'm Matt Harrington. And Brandon, the holiday swing was in full effect last week. Of course, we get a new slate of games this week, and we're starting to really come down the home stretch, it feels like, or at least the halfway mark, but we're going to start getting there pretty soon, aren't we?
Yeah, it is crazy to think section playoffs for girls start in about 4 weeks and boys a couple weeks after that. So we're hitting the stretch where you want to start playing your best hockey for sure. And we're coming to you today from the St. Thomas Ice Arena, one of the busier rinks in the state this time of year, with 2 varsity hockey teams and 2 D1 college teams that play here.
Let's go ahead and get into some of the highlights. We'll start with the boys this week.
Starting off this week with Blake and Providence Academy. Folks, buckle into your seatbelts here because this one's about to get wild. Blake scores about 2.5 minutes in. Charlie Moore putting the Bears up 1-0. We take you late first period with Providence. They're able to tie this up. Gavin Sattler with 1:12 to go in the first period. And then check the clock here. Just a few seconds remaining when Louis Wayman finds the back of the net. Under 2 seconds to go in the first period. Providence leads it 2-1. We pick this up now early second period, just 14 seconds into the frame, and Joe Erickson ties it for Blake at 2. And then still in the first minute, Oliver Dunnick finds the back of the net. It's 3-2 Blake Bears, and the track meet is on. Fuzz Offet, the goaltender, picked up an assist on that goal. Just over, about 30 seconds later, Louis Wayman scores his second, and it's 3-3. We'll go now to the third period, and the score is 5-5 when Blake retakes the lead here. Landon Bell off the feed, and he finds the back of the net from Joe Erickson. It's 6-5 Bears. Now Providence back on the attack, and Joe Spades on the rebound. He scores from Gavin Sattler, 6-6 with 3 minutes remaining. And now Blake, they hit the crossbar right before this, but Jimmy Hughes on the power play puts the Bears up 7-6 with a late lead. However, Louis Wayman circles the wagons and scores. Wayman completes the hat trick. It is 7-7. And then in overtime, it is Sammy Lewis on the rebound from Louis Wayman. Unbelievable game, 8-7 Providence. Blake, though, would pick up its first win of the season against its arch rivals Breck later in the week.
Eastview Rosemont now from the Rosemont Ice Arena. Section and conference game between these two teams. It's the Irish who strike first. Lucas Salick puts it home on the rebound to give Rosemont the 1-0 lead in their beautiful all-white home jerseys and uniforms, I might add. Another goal, this time from Hans Hedlund, who plays the violin, it looks like, there on the celebration. Nicely done, but Eastview certainly would not go away as they get one back in the second period. Caleb Nelson with the finish in front. Eastview cuts the lead to 2-1, and then in front, a big rebound here. This is going to be sitting there for Ethan Hansen, who gets the goal, and it is a 2-2 game as we go into the third period now. And, check this out. This is a miscue behind the net, and Eastview takes advantage. It's Cam Roth who's able to bury the rebound, and Eastview has the lead. Rosemont 6-on-4 now. They had a power play and the net empty, and big, juicy rebound is put home by Salick. It's his second of the game. We go to overtime in this one. Right off the face-off, middle stages of OT, and it's Jordan Brothers who roofs it home, and Eastview gets a huge win. These two teams are going to meet again on February 6th. Certainly looking forward to that one. Eastview, though, 4-3 winners.
We take you up to the Iron Range now, Yanmar Arena, our freshly installed camera in the renovated barn at Yanmar. And Duluth East is going to go on the board here first, late first period. Noah Tang off the pass from Wyatt Peterson, putting the Hounds up 1-0. Now, early second period we go. This is in the opening minute of the period. You'll see Ian Christians there out front. He'll put it through the legs there of the goaltender. 2-0 Hounds on the road. A stunned silent crowd at Yanmar. About halfway through this one, nice move into the slot, and Thomas Gunderson will finish it off there. Caden Cole with the move, and Gunderson finishes it off. 3-0 Hounds into the third period, but the Hounds, or rather the Thunderhawks, are on the board here. Nathan Langlois finds the back of the net there. And then, with just about 6 minutes to go, still a 3-1 game. Thunderhawks on the power play. Look at the snipe from Bauer Murphy, and it's a 1-goal game. Into the final 3 minutes now, and the Hawks work it to the point, and Jacob Garski, ties it at 3, 2:58 to go. Final minute of play here. Look at the great play at the point to hold the line. It comes to Garski, who rips it into the back of the net. Jacob Garski. What a comeback by the Thunderhawks. He would complete the hat trick in just the final 3 minutes of the third period with the empty netter. 5-3 Thunderhawks.
St. Thomas and Benilde St. Margaret's big one here. Number 4 versus number 6 in boys AA. The Cadets looking to get on the board first, and they do. Luca Pedri in front. That comes late stages of the second period, and now we go into the third of a 1-0 game. St. Thomas looking to take a lead, and check out this stop. Nicely done on the slide over there from Mason McElroy. And we go into the third now. 4:40 to go. Check out the patience, and the wraparound try just slips in, and the Red Knights have tied the game. A.J. Ulrich on the goal. But that would not be the end of the chaos here. There's just 18.9 seconds left in regulation. Referee checking the clock, and St. Thomas Academy just gets that one to go through somehow. It's Cole Bronshausen who's going to get credit for that one. And then just 6 seconds later, they would finish it off on the empty net with the goal from Jimmy Zavarol. And St. Thomas Academy picks up a huge road win over Benilde St. Margaret's 3-1 winners here in St. Louis Park.
Andover at Maple Grove, and we pick this up now late first period as the Huskies will fire it in from a sharp angle. Caleb Gore from Rocco Gorowski, and Andover goes up 1-0, and guess what? That was it. They used up all their goals in that state championship game a couple years ago between these two programs. This one is just 1-0, but it's a huge win for Andover over their Northwest Suburban rivals, 1-0.
Eden Prairie Hermantown, a battle of A versus AA up north. We'll go to the second where it's still scoreless, and Hermantown gets the first goal of the game. River Freeman with an even strength tally, 1-0. 5-on-3 now for Hermantown, and they indeed will cash in as Will Esterbrooks pops the water bottle there for the 2-0 lead in favor of the Hawks, who would look for more here now in the early minutes of the third period. This one gets through the goaltender. It's Slattengren who's on the board. It's 3-0. Now the other way, a keep at the line for Hermantown, and then the long shot from the point goes through. That's Esterbrooks with the second of the game. That made it 4-0. Dominating effort by Hermantown, but Eden Prairie would not go away as they get on the board here from Mason Moe, who gets the wrist shot goal for Eden Prairie. That makes it 4-1. And then Hermantown, though, looking to turn the tide again here as it's a beautiful cut through the center and finish from Bodie Medill, an even strength goal. Eden Prairie, though, would get another one here as it manages to get past the goaltender, that time Chase Clute. The Eagles would add 2 more at the end from Cole Satterdahl to make things interesting, but Hermantown hangs on to win this one 5-4. Jumping out of the girls' highlights now, we go to the Bemidji Community Arena, the Lumberjacks and the Warriors. This has been a rivalry that's been dominated by Warroad in recent years, but it's Bemidji who gets the first goal of the game, and we'll pick this one up now in the third period. It's still 1-0 Lumberjacks. Check out the defensive play here from Maya Lundeen, number 6 in white, who makes a terrific play on the other end to keep this one at 1-0. And folks, that's how this one ends. For the first time since 2006, the Bemidji girls hockey team has beaten Warroad, and they did it in shutout fashion here. 1-0 the final score. That snaps a 31-game losing streak to the Warriors.
Incredible. Metro West action, top 2 teams in the Metro West, Orono and Benilde St. Margaret's. And we pick this up in the first period, and Addie Morris straight to the net. And speaking of Bemidji, the Bemidji State Beaver commit finds the back of the net there. All the way into the third in a 1-0 game, but look at this twisted wrister by Orono's Callie Schmidt to tie it up at 1. The Spartans go on the road and tie the Red Knights 1-1. This one ends.
Moving on to our third girls game, it's the Battle of the Stars, Academy of Holy Angels and Gentry Academy. First period here, and it is the Stars that strike first. Well, they struck 4 times in this game, but first it is Gentry Academy who gets the goal. Maddie Baker there. But then Holy Angels now, late stages of the second period, final minute. It's Bella Lemire, who has been a stud this year for the second-ranked Angels in Class A, or the Stars, Academy of Holy Angels, that is. This one's going to trickle through on the attempt here from Riley Iverson. Believe it may have gotten tipped in front, but regardless, we go now into the third of a 2-1 game, and check out the slap shot here that gets through from Sarah Cooney. That would make it a 3-1 game in favor of Holy Angels, and that's how they finish. 3-1 winners are the Academy of Holy Angels.
This is the Battle of the Wildcats following the Battle of the Stars, our Hockey Night in Minnesota game from Dodge County, Casson, Minnesota on Friday night. It's the road Wildcats on the board first. Cameron Hinch for Chisago Lakes makes it 1-0. Later in the first period, Bryn Sprider takes advantage of a falling defender and puts it into the net. Sprider for Dodge County ties it at 1, but just 50 seconds later, Chisago Lakes would retake the lead. Out front, Sienna Ritter hits the twine, and it's 2-1 Chisago Lakes. Dodge County's turn, though, as this at the point, walking the line, Alexa Van Straten shoots across the grain, and Van Straten ties it at 2 into the second. We pick it up now early second period, and Molly Cook racing in here at the end of a penalty kill for Dodge County, and she scores there, showing off the wheels to make it 3-2. Great stretch pass here as the top line continues to click. That time it was Macy Cook who feeds her line mate Nora Karstensen, and it was 4-2, pardon me. Now, time to return the feed. This time, Karstensen feeds to Macy Cook, and that top line was all over Chisago Lakes in the middle period. They go on to win 8-2.
Minnetonka and Edina on the girls' side. A couple of key players out in this one. They were at the Women's U18 World Championships, but regardless, still a lot of good talent on the ice here, and it's Edina that gets the scoring started with Kate McCoy in the first period. And that is the only goal of the game. Another 1-0 win here, this time for Edina, who beats their rival Minnetonka. That will certainly play a factor, you would think, in the KARE 11 top 11 as the Hornets go on to win this one 1-0 over Minnetonka.
And we wrap it up here. Maple Grove and Moorhead for the second time this season after they met in the Walser tournament. Early stages, second period now, and Addie Sillerud off the rebound from Abby Oakland. A power play goal for the Crimson makes it 1-0. Now it's Moorhead's turn on the power play. Nice passing there, and Maddie Hansen on the backhand sweeps that one home past Danny Strom to tie it up at 1. A couple minutes later, watch number 3 out front, Taylor Brewski. She knows what to do, straight to the net for the big Moorhead power forward. 2-1 Spuds on home ice. Into the final seconds of this entertaining second period, and Bella Shipley, the Maple Grove star, ties it up at 2. Third period action we go now, and the puck breaks loose here for Hadley Baker, who scores from that sharp angle down low, and it's the Crimson who lead by a goal. Moorhead, though, would battle back. It's Brewski again getting her second with Danny Strom down. Brewski finds the top part of the net to tie it up at 3. Final 4 minutes now. Olivia Corton forces the turnover and scores. Nice solo effort there by Corton. Moorhead up 4-3. Kate Kosabud adds the empty netter, and the Spuds, for the second time this year, defeat Maple Grove. We'll be back with our St. Cloud State Player Spotlight in a moment.
One new place, plus 2 of everything, plus 1 budget. Life math is complicated. Financial experts
Hi there.
make it easier. Affinity Plus. Getting a free streaming trial. Plus, forgetting to cancel it. Life math is complicated. Fewer overdraft fees make it easier. Learn more at affinityplus.org/betterthanfree.
this week's St. Cloud State Player Spotlight, we take you to southern Minnesota as we take a look at the Dodge County Wildcats dynamic duo, sisters Maisie and Molly Cook. Let's take a look.
I don't know. We've played ever since we were really young, so we kind of know each other and how we work well together. We work hard and we move well on the ice together. We find each other well, so it's really fun.
Yeah, off of that, I would say as we worked with each other when we were little, we've known a lot about each other and how we play, and it's grown over the years. And now coming up, she'll be a senior soon, so it's gonna
be tough, but
yeah.
it's been fun.
Yeah, they're both very solid players. They kind of play a little bit different. Maisie's kind of a strong playmaking forward that kind of she could score a lot more, but I think she's a little bit younger with big sister on the line, and she plays Nora Carsonson, so they're just a great line together. She's, last year a U15 national camp kid that went out to Ohio and has got a ton of upside, and I see her playing Division I hockey. Molly's got a couple D1 conversations, a lot of D3 conversations already. Molly's a figure skater as well, so she's really a good edge kid. If you see her skating, she's one of the best skaters you'll see in the state. She gets up and down the ice well, but it's his sisters is great. They have a little bit extra chemistry, right? Because I'm sure they talk a lot at home and watch game film together and spend some time. And they've been playing for a long time together too, so they have a different bond than a lot of other players do as a line together.
So we grew up in Winona, so we played hockey in Winona until like 12U, and then we moved here to Dodge and we started high school hockey here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
our drives are short because we live close to the rink, but we usually jam out. She likes to connect to aux, and then she plays some fun songs, and then we get here and we jam out in the locker room too, so it's a very fun environment.
I'd say Maisie's more of the aggressive, kind of quiet, but very the competitive kid. Molly's like the mother in the locker room, right? She's the obviously oldest of the siblings, so I think it shows in the locker room as well. She's the nurturer, keep everybody in peacemaker, and keeps everything kind of on the up and up in the locker room. So she's definitely the mother hen of the group. So.
Yeah, we've been growing as a team, obviously, since we are so young. We've started a while back, and then growing up with Macy and then with the rest of my teammates, it's been fun, and we've helped each other grow along the way, so it's good to see improvement in every aspect of every single player and as a team, so hopefully we can make a difference and go to state this year. I'm looking forward to tonight, obviously taking it one game at a time, but I'm also looking forward to Northfield because we've been rivals for a while. We played them earlier before the season started, and it was a fun one, so yeah.
We know the teams. We know we can play those guys. These guys train with a lot of these kids on these other teams that are, ranked above us, and we're pretty confident that we can make that goal, be achieved. I mean,
playing tougher teams, I think, helps us get in the mental state of what it's going to be like at state.
All right, time to take a look at the top network games of the week for the second week in January. We'll start with the boys this week, and it starts on Tuesday night with Coon Rapids at Totino Grace up in Brooklyn Park. Benilde St. Margaret's at St. Louis Park that same night, the battle of the St. Louis Park Rec Center. We also will feature Holy Family at Delano, a good game of the Wright County Conference. Chaska at Chan on Saturday, those association rivals, if you will. And Champlain Park at Elk River. Matt, the slate this week, maybe not heavy on top 10 matchups, but the theme this week is section rivalries and maybe some border battles in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of good conference games this week. Of course, you mentioned Chaska, Chanhassen. Holy Family Delano is a really intriguing matchup. Of course, the Tigers out of Delano have had a really good season so far this year, so it's going to be fun to watch that rivalry brew as well. And overall, you're getting a really strong aspect of rivalries this week.
All right, let's go to the girls' game of the week now.
All right, let's take a look now at the upcoming top 5 network girls games of the week. And we start with a rare Monday night game as we head up north. It is Moose Lake area taking on Hibbing Chisholm. And then on Tuesday night, we've got a good one between Proctor Hermantown and Holy Family. Of course, Proctor Hermantown on a roll as of late in girls Class A. And then also Moorhead at Bemidji. We saw just earlier in the show Bemidji with a big win over Warroad earlier this week. They'll play another really tough AA team in Moorhead next week. And then Edina Stillwater playing for the second time in a few weeks. Of course, they played at the Walser Invitational in the third place game. And then finally, Brandon, a good one as well between Minneapolis and Hopkins Park.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at a couple of games outstate with some section implications. That Moose Lake Hipping Chisholm game is a section rivalry, as is Moorhead Bemidji. And you mentioned Bemidji coming off that massive win, their first win over Warroad in many, many years. And then Edina Stillwater, too. You said it. They played an entertaining overtime game in the Walser third place game. A couple key players on both sides will be missing this one at the U18 World Championships, that being Josie St. Martin with Stillwater and Edina goaltender Nora Hannon. So both teams missing a key player, but it's just the reality this time of year.
One new place, plus two of everything, plus one budget. Life math is complicated. Financial experts
Hi there.
make it easier. Affinity Plus. Getting a free streaming trial. Plus, forgetting to cancel it. Life math is complicated. Fewer overdraft fees make it easier. Learn more at affinityplus.org/betterthanfree.
Our hockey night in Minnesota games for the upcoming week. We have two boys games to bring you this coming week. It starts on Tuesday night as Maple Grove will visit Rogers in a Northwest suburban matchup. The battle of I-94, if you will. Matt, these teams met in the section final last year, both having pretty strong years so far too.
Yes, they are indeed, and of course Maple Grove has been one of the hottest teams in the state. Rogers has fumbled a little bit here and there, but they still look the part of a team that absolutely can win this game and potentially get to the state tournament for the first time.
And then, Matt, one of the reasons we're filming here today at St. Thomas Ice Arena is there's a bit of a special announcement surrounding our second hockey night game.
That's right. We're going to be right back here at the St. Thomas Ice Arena next Friday, January 12th, for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets hosting the Edina Hornets. Of course, the Hornets are going to be looking for revenge. They lost to the Cadets as part of the Tradition Invitational. So certainly looking forward to that one. That's 7 p.m. right here on KARE 11 Plus, St. Thomas Academy and Edina boys hockey.
Time to look at our KARE 11 top 11s for the week. We will start with boys AA this week. Top two teams on top remain the same with Minnetonka and Wayzata. No surprise there, as both are still unbeaten. After that, it's a little bit tougher to sort through. We have Chan at 3. STA, you saw their big win over BSM this week, and they also beat Edina last week. So that gets us our 4, 5, and 6. Andover, we welcome you back after they beat Maple Grove. That's our 7, 8. And then beyond that, Matt, a little bit tough to sort through some of these teams, but it's Rosemont, Shakopee, Rogers in to complete the top 11 with Eden Prairie out this week. But I know that they, along with a few other teams, were in consideration. Yeah,
absolutely. It was kind of tough to nail down those final few teams. And, of course, Rogers was out last week. They're back in, I believe, after just the 1 week out. But, you know, you look at Andover and you say, well, they have 5 losses, but they've been playing better recently. And, of course, the win over Maple Grove will go a long way. certainly in the Northwest Suburban Conference. And again, you look at some of these other teams. St. Thomas Academy has had a rapid ascent up the top 11. They were out just 2 weeks ago, and now they're number 4. So it's been impressive to see what the Cadets have done. And, of course, they're going to play Edina this week. And then we've also got Maple Grove and Rogers as well. So there's a lot of upcoming inter games, if you will, between these top 11 teams.
Yeah, and obviously both those games on Hockey Night in Minnesota. We had some good picks for Hockey Night this week. We'll move on to Class A boys here, and it is Warroad on top, followed by Hermantown, Cathedral, EGF, and Orono rounding out the top 5. The team I want to spotlight here a little bit this week, though, comes in at number 11. We welcome Proctor for the first time. Laverne is still unbeaten, and they are at number 10, and they don't have any ties either, so they are the only team in the state that has won every single game. How about that? Good for Laverne.
Yeah, it's impressive to see what Laverne's done, and of course they maybe don't have as strong of a schedule as some of these other teams, but you have to credit what they've been able to do to win. A lot of the times they say, just win, baby, and that's what the Laverne Cardinals have done. And, looking at their schedule, it's very possible that they could continue to keep winning and winning all the way through the regular season. We'll find out. But Cathedral and East Grand Forks swap places this week. Orono goes up a little bit after their head-to-head win over Delano. Northfield's only lost 1 game as well, so they're a team to keep an eye out. And, of course, you got Proctor as well. I'm riding the rails with the Proctor Rails. I'm glad that they are getting recognized this week. They had a tough overtime loss to Hermantown, but Proctor has been impressive and had a nice win over Duluth-Denfeld last week as well.
If I had to name a boys high school hockey MVP, most valuable player, it's probably Proctor goaltender AJ Railtz. He is really what's putting them over the top and putting them in contention. So they had a close game in overtime with Hermantown this week as well. Matt, let's go over to the girls' rankings.
Yes, girls' rankings indeed. Hill Murray will remain at number 1, Minnetonka at 2, Andover at 3, and then you start to get a little bit of shuffling more than we have in the past. It's been pretty consistent the last couple weeks, but some head-to-head results here will impact our rankings. Edina goes up to 5. They were at 7 last week. And unfortunately, through no fault of their own, Centennial Spring Lake Park goes down to number 8, even though they've just lost that 1 game. Northfield is a perfect 16-0-0. They have a matchup this week against Benilde St. Margaret's at home, which will be very exciting. And then, well-deserved, might I add, coming in at number 11, the red-hot Woodbury Royals, who have been on fire, 14-1-1, their record so far.
Yeah, Woodbury 14-1-1. And by the way, their only loss was their season opener. So they're unbeaten in the last 15 games since losing to Cretin on their opening game of the season. We're going to learn a little bit more about this Woodbury team coming up. They have 2 meetings with Stillwater in the Suburban East. They'll actually meet twice within a week. A couple Saturdays from now on January 20th, they'll host Stillwater, and then they'll go to Stillwater on January 25th. And then less than a week after that, Woodbury's at Minnetonka on January 31st. So we'll learn a lot about these young Royals in that 3-game stretch, but certainly impressed with what I'm seeing. And then, Matt, as you said so well, Northfield with its toughest test to date, they will take on Benilde St. Margaret's. Maybe I shouldn't say that, though. They have already beaten Orono. If they can beat BSM, we're going to have to look into moving Northfield up even a couple more notches.
Yeah, we'll find out what happens. I believe that game's scheduled for Tuesday night down in Northfield, and then we'll go to the girls' Class A rankings. Not a whole lot of changes here, just a little bit as Warroad goes down 1 spot. They did lose a couple of 1-0 games to some AA teams this week, but Proctor Hermantown stays at 6. And we do welcome back the Breck Mustangs, who are back on the winning track. They have now won 3 in a row since a little 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, and speaking of Northfield, there's actually a team in here that played Northfield. That's the Crookston Pirates that had a pretty good battle with Northfield on Friday night before defeating AA Gentry on Saturday. Honestly, I'm liking more and more what I'm seeing with every Crookston result. And Warroad has shown that they're a little bit vulnerable in the goal-scoring department this season. So that's looking even tighter than ever in 8A. 7A will have Duluth, Marshall, and Proctor Hermantown going head-to-head in a couple weeks. And then toward the back end, as you said, Breck gets itself back in. Mustangs playing in that very competitive Section 5 that also features Orono and Mound West Tonka. And so there's some battles of sections out there. Dodge County, obviously I saw them on Hockey Night in Minnesota this week. They have a couple big games down the stretch as well, including a matchup with Orono and Northfield. So there's still some big games the rest of the way for this Class A field. And Orono, they have a very challenging schedule. They'll play Andover and Holy Angels this week.
Well, before we go on this Sunday night, we wanted to fill you in on some big news in the hockey world in the Twin Cities. You may have already heard, but if not, the 2026 IIHF World Junior Hockey Championships are coming right here to Minneapolis and St. Paul. That'll be starting late December 25 into the early weeks of 2026. But Brandon, these are some of the best young players in the world. We're going to get a front row seat right here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, super exciting. A couple great venues in the XL Energy Center and Mariucci Arena that they plan to use. A couple big venues as well, as I think they're anticipating big crowds. Obviously, North America. The Canadian fans will be able to come down. I'm sure we'll get plenty of European travelers coming in as well. An influx to the Twin Cities is just a great event, and super, super pumped for that.
Looking forward to that. That'll be coming up, though, in 2 years, starting in December of 2025. Well, that'll wrap up our episode of Inside the Bubble here on KARE 11 Plus. We thank you so much for joining us, as always. For our executive producer, Pete Wagner, and Brandon Spratt, I'm Matt Harrington saying so long, and have a great rest of your Sunday evening.